Hi, welcome back. I'm Natalie, and today's topic is spiritual awakening. I believe that I've had a spiritual awakening, and I just want to share with you what consists of a spiritual awakening, just in case you're going through one at the moment and wondering what's going on. So, firstly, what is a spiritual awakening? Well, you become aware of your individual self and the connection between everything else. I have notes. I've written down notes. I don't want to say the wrong thing. So, and I did promise you I'd research every topic. So you become aware of your individual self and the connection between everything else. So you become spiritually aware of the universe and how it connects to you. Okay? This is a spiritual awakening. Basically, it doesn't mean that you're perfect at all. We all have flaws. It just means that you strive to live a good life with the focus of the greater of good being your focus. So that's what a spiritual awakening is. Now, how do you know if you're having one or had one? Okay, so observing your patterns. Instead of going through the motions of life, you actually start to notice what you're doing or how you're thinking or how you're feeling, and you start questioning things. So that was a big thing for me. I started questioning a lot of things. Things that I questioned were, why do I work 9 to 5? What is this world we're living in? It's almost like a rat race. It's just like Groundhog Day over and over again. You wake up, you have a shower, you have your breakfast, you get ready for work, you prepare your lunch, you work, you come home, you have dinner, you go to bed. It's just the same thing every day. And I started to question what this all means, Growth comes from being in the present moment. And so I felt this. I had growth from being in the present moment. When I realized these things and I really felt the urge to want to change a few things in my life. So, so that's how you know. One of the things, you're on a spiritual path to enlightenment or awakening. Feeling a sense of connection is another sign. So you feel less judgmental of people. You have more understanding, more patience. You tend to put yourself in their shoes and try to look at things from their perspective. So that's another good one. Finding your inner peace. And I must admit, I wasn't very good at this one yesterday. When I tried to upload my YouTube video to you, I had to break it down into 3 segments, and it really tested my patience. I had a lot of problems yesterday on the computer. So finding inner peace. So when things go wrong in life, you become unflappable. Okay, even though yesterday it wasn't great, I was not unflappable yesterday. I was totally flappable, but I am better in general. I don't know, things don't really faze me too much. I'll be driving along in the car, okay, somebody slams on their brakes in front of me or just cuts in or whatever. And I guess before I would have been a bit anxious about that, but these days I'm like, it's all right, we'll get there as long as we're safe and, there's no rush. So, that's just one example of that. Increased intuition. That's a big one for me. That has definitely happened for me. I can, it even happened today. I looked over at my phone and I thought, my sister-in-law was going to text me, and then I got a text. And then I was busy writing out this, to be honest, doing my research. I thought, I'll leave that for a few minutes and then I'll check it. And then I checked my phone and it was my sister-in-law. And things happen to me like that all the time. A thing happened to me just last year. I had this incredible feeling that I needed to ring my cousin. And I was getting ready for work in the morning and everything was really busy that day. And she was on my mind, like completely on my mind. And, that's not a normal thing for me. So, and then about, I don't know, not very long, maybe an hour or 2 after having all those thoughts about my cousin, I received a phone call from my brother informing me that her husband had passed away. So that was another one of those moments where my intuition just really kicks in about some really poignant things. And So that's a really big thing for me. Oh, I'll tell you another story about that too. I've got another story about that. This is quite cool. While I was at work, a fellow colleague came up to me and was telling me some things, and then I just, nothing to do with her conversation, to be honest, but I just had this incredible urge to tell her or to ask her where she parks her car. So she told me where she parked her car, which is right out front of work. And I said to her, I would get your car and I'd shift it. Don't park it in the car park, just shift it a few blocks away and then just walk to work for a few days. I just had to tell her that. It was really bizarre. And she's like, okay. And anyway, the day after, she came up to me and said, Natalie, she said, my car has been smashed in. The bonnet has been completely dented. And I said, did you shift your car? And she said, no. And I said, remember, I told you to shift your car. And she said, you did too. So there's another bit of these intuitive things that I get, and sometimes I just don't even make sense with. They just pop into my head, and I feel compelled to say them. It's like I deliver them without a second to think about what I've just said. So that's how they come to me. So it's quite freaky, and I really enjoy them when they happen. They're actually fun. So that's a big one for me. And synchronicity is another big one to know if you're having a spiritual awakening. Things just tend to fall into place, and not only that, you have a sense that the universe is doing something good for you. You know that you can trust in the universe, and you feel looked after. So that's another one too. So you feel that the universe is conspiring to make something happen. I guess that's better wording for it. So if you've ever had a single act that triggers a chain of events that feel like destiny, then you may just be having your own awakening. Increased compassion. So that's definitely me as well. I've always been thoughtful and compassionate, but I believe that it's become bigger. So when I speak to people, just everyday people, day-to-day people I've never met before, and it's funny because people do feel compelled to tell me intimate, private things about themselves or their health or their family or their troubles. People are drawn to me like that, and I find myself, it even happened to me just last week, I find myself becoming emotional. I had a lady tell me last week of her disease that she has. She can't walk, she can't, her bones break easily. I can't remember the name of the disease, and I just felt really sad, and I started to get emotional. Tears welled up in my eyes, and I had to say, look, Natalie, this happens, and I have to talk myself out of getting quite upset. So this happens as well during a spiritual awakening. Now, what else am I going to tell you about? As you become awakened, you fear death less. The realization that death is inevitable allows us to have peace, and it takes away the fear. So it's a nice way to be. You have increased authenticity. So when you're awakened, you may feel more confident, and you have a deep sense of worth. That is what I'm trying to say. So that is another sign. You're generally happier, which makes you healthier. So these are some signs that you can look into and reflect upon yourself to find out whether you're having a spiritual awakening, or you've had one, or these resonate with you. I just want to end today's video in just listing just a couple of things that, if you want to achieve spiritual awakening, there are things that you can do. So one of them is to meditate, and there's heaps of things on YouTube that you can listen to, some really lovely meditations. So you can just cruise along there and journey through and find one that's appropriate for you. I call it green play, and that's basically spending time outdoors. Spending time outdoors, just making yourself present in the moment, listening to, at the moment I have rain coming down outside, so I don't know if you can hear that, but listening to the rain, listening to the breeze rustle the leaves of the trees, listening to the birds, listening to how if you're going barefoot or with shoes on, how the lawn sounds beneath your feet crunching, like just really taking it all in. It's really a nice thing to do. Watching the sunset is one of my favorite things to do. I have a view of the sunset each evening from one of my windows, and it's just the most beautiful thing. Every night it's red and orange, and watch the sun go down, and it's just something about it. I want to talk more about that down the track, but even listening to bees hum while they make their honey in their bee's hive, the sound of the humming actually resonates with your cells and it promotes healing. So how's that? So take note of those humming busy bee sounds. Laugh, just laugh. Just put on a comedy and have a laugh. It's really good for your soul. Practice gratitude. So, I'm in the habit of, when I take my children to school, we're cruising along in the car and I'll say, what are we grateful today for? And we'll list off a few things that we're grateful for. We'll go in the car and we'll have a turn of thinking of things. And it's just a lovely way to start the day. And basically just to slow down in life and be in the now. That is so important. We're just so used to being in this world. I call it the matrix, I call it the hamster wheel, I call it the treadmill of life. I've got all these words for it. But, at the end of the day, we need to just take time, breathe, think of ourselves present in the moment, appreciate what we have, and be grateful for it. So thank you so much for listening. And I forgot to say last time, because I'm new to this YouTube thing, please share, like, subscribe. That'll be great. Anyway, I'll speak to you soon with my next discovery. Thanks so much.